What's going on, guys? We're bringing another breakdown video courtesy of my student Raiden once again. This time it is an officer situation where there's two of them, I believe, and they're against one person. There's a couple of factors involved in it, and we're going to give our little bit of a Filipino martial arts input into that video and see how we can complement or make the situation a little better for those that we're trying to detain. So this is the video. Check this out.
They about to take that. Bitch. Bitch. Oh, she trying to hit her. What the? Oh, shit. They trying to take his. Watch out. Back up. Back up. Oh, he knocked that motherfucker out. Already down. Already down. You already down. I'm already down. Already down.
All right, so the situation starts that this gentleman here was pinned up initially against the wall with two officers. And we can touch base on a lot of things we've spoken about in past union breakdowns. Number one, of course, when there is strength in numbers, you want to be able to cooperate and communicate to see who's doing what so you're not essentially fighting each other. The second thing is we have an environmental subject already in place. So we had him pinned against the wall, and as he was pinned against the wall, they were already limiting his movement. So that's one thing you can do. Whether you decide to pin it, however you know, you can do it in Khalifa, whatever it is, you essentially want to use the wall to prevent Raiden or the gentleman there to move, and then once his movement is limited, I can start to really solidify the position, solidify the process of keeping them against the wall, pinned, to eventually detaining them. Whether that's standing or on the ground, I'll have a little more control. Now, the most a crucial part to this video that I want to address is, now this is obviously going to change depending on you and your skill set, but as this gentleman was released and off of the wall, he ended up in a quote-unquote boxing stance, and he started swinging at the officer. So there's a few things here. Number one, whether I am a decent boxer or not, the last thing you want to do is fight someone else's fight. So Raiden being the aggressor, he's already in a fighting stance. He's already throwing hands. He's already one step ahead of me. He's already engaging in this type of combat. And so when I decide to play his game, he's already going to have to step on me, which is partially the reason why the officer got hit and was knocked down to the ground. So ideally what I want to do in a Filipino martial arts standpoint, and this is particularly with my skill set as well, is I want to close the striking range and go into a grappling range. Now, it could also be assumed that because this gentleman was throwing punches, that he didn't have a weapon on him, as he was using his hands as a primary source of attacking. In a case where he was outnumbered, where he feels threatened, there is a great chance that he would have pulled his weapon out to, level the playing field a little more. So you don't have to be a specialist when it comes to closing the distance. You just have to be able to protect the vitals and get into the range where he can't box you. And so I would simply just close my shield here. We can take that from kickboxing. You can shield on one side, whatever works depending on the strikes. And what I'm basically going to do is absorb and go inside. So as that cross comes and he's boxing, I'm going to go inside here, and I'm going to loop underneath and get into a grappling range. So this is kind of like an arm triangle situation. I have my hands locked in. I'm isolating one hand. Whether this was his power hand or not, I'm isolating one. And again, now I can limit his movement, make him uncomfortable, potentially submit him here, manipulate his base, pin him against the wall, or eventually set him up for a takedown to throw him to the ground, and then communicating with my partner, be able to pin him down and detain him. Okay, so when I communicate with my partner, I can essentially take the lead, or my partner can take the lead, and go into these techniques and flow, one of the core concepts of Filipino martial arts, without any interruptions from an ally. Now, the second thing I want to talk about in this kind of boxing scenario is something I said a little earlier, strength in numbers. And so if we were to flip this on the other side, and we had 2 aggressors versus 1 officer, the idea is to kind of line them up so that you can only fight one at a time. If you had 1 attacking over here and 1 attacking over here, you're going to get overwhelmed. You can only put your attention in so many places, right? So when the video first started and Raiden was against the wall, or the gentleman was against the wall, we had an officer on this side, we had an officer on this side. And it was working pretty well because they're both collectively working together in 2 separate areas. Now, because there was 2 of them and the attention was in the striking concept against this gentleman and the male officer over here, we had a secondary officer who had the ability to charge in, to grapple, to strike, whatever that might have been, in a sense, kind of like in Raiden's blind spot. And as I can engage here or preoccupy the opponent or the target here, then my partner could come in and we can deal with this very quickly, very efficiently, instead of playing, again, the game or the striking match that was started by Raiden, by the aggressor in the first place. So kind of the key concept when it comes to training and when it comes to detaining and things of that nature is to always play to your strong suits, but also really focus in on how to neutralize the threat. And not necessarily the neutralization is going to come via the same method. So I could essentially knock Raiden out if I was a better boxer. Do I have to? No. Especially because of what my job might have been if I was an officer or whatnot. Especially because of other external factors. If there was people around, innocent bystanders, if there's a second person, also that I have a second officer, you want to utilize and really analyze that situation correctly so that you can choose the best thing with the least amount of effort and save that for, the more difficult situations. So that is our take on the Filipino martial arts side, implementing that into this scenario. Again, make sure that when you guys are training, take it slow. Don't be afraid to go over situations like this, but understand the framework that is involved in applying it in sort of a rigorous and uncontrolled environment. Don't just jump into that. You're not gonna really benefit from that. And so, if you guys agree with what we're saying, if you guys have any other inputs, make sure you guys comment below and let us know. We are reading all the comments, we are taking the feedback, and we are trying to make this channel for you guys the best martial arts channel out there. Subscribe if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up, and until next time, catch you guys there.